Okay, welcome back to the channel. Now today we're going to have a quick look at what functions are and then look at a bit of function notation and then from there we can build on functions. Now the first thing that we need to do is look at a definition. So a definition for a function is this. It's a set of instructions that maps a set of input values to a single output value. So there we go. That's what a function is. Now a little bit more about functions. You've actually seen functions before and we can break them down into something very simple. One of these. So you'd have seen a function machine before, a long time ago, maybe when you were like 10 years old. And with a function machine, what you were doing is you had numbers going in, you followed some instructions, and then you got your numbers that come out of there. Now that was for when you were really, really young. Now a function can be represented like this. So here, because our function tells us to times by 2 and then add 5, we can turn this into this. So our x here represents our input values. So we're timesing our input values by 2, that's our first instruction, and then we're adding 5. So then you've got a plus 5 on the end. So let's just say our input value to begin with is 3. Then what we need to do is times that by 2, so 3 times 2 gives us 6, then add 5, which is 11. But now what we can do is we can show some notation for this using our function over here. So because our input or our x value was 3, we can go ahead and replace that x with 3 because this shows that we're going to substitute 3 into this function. So we go and replace 3 in place of the x, and so what we say is when our input is 3, or we say f of 3 is equal to, that's 6 plus 5, which is 11, and that's our output there. So let's do this one more time. Let's choose a different in value. Maybe let's try negative 4. So we'll do minus 4 times by 2, which is minus 8, and then add 5, which will give us minus 3. So how do we show this using our function notation? We'll show that f of minus 4 is equal to 2 lots of negative 4, add 5. So f of minus 4 is 2 lots of minus 4 is minus 8, plus 5 is minus 3. And there we go. So now you can see I've put 2 arrows here. So let me just come across this side. 2 arrows are here because the numbers that we're allowed to put into our function is given a special name. And what we call this is our domain. So those are the numbers that you're allowed to put in to your function, which are your x values. The numbers that come out of your functions, or the numbers that you can get out of your function, are known as your range. So domain is very much your x values that you're allowed to put in. Range is kind of like the y values that come out of your function. So a lot of people struggle sometimes and get the two mixed up, and they think, oh, maybe domain is the out numbers here, or range is the in numbers. So a quick way to remember it is this. Alphabetically, x comes before y, and then in the words domain and range, d comes before r. So x and y. Alphabetically, d's before there, so that's our x values, and r is our y values. So hopefully that all makes a little bit of sense, and what we'll do now is have a look at a few very simple function questions and see how to answer those. So we've got 2 functions, f and g, and they're given by this. So f of x is 3x minus 5, and g of x is x squared minus 33. So what we've got to do first of all is find f of 10. So what does that mean? Well, we need to get our function f and substitute 10 into there as x. So let's just rub this out, and then we can do it over here. Let's get rid of this. Okay, there we go. So if we are trying to find f of 10, we need to replace the x with 10. So that means f of 10 is going to be 25. That's 30, take away 5. Next, we need to find g of minus 2. So g of minus 2 means take your function g and replace the x with minus 2. So we'll have this. So that means g of minus 2 equals minus 2 squared is 4, then 4 minus 33 is going to give us minus 29. There we go. Next, part B says solve where f of x is equal to g of x. So what does this mean? This means I take my two functions and set them equal to each other. So f of x was 3x minus 5, and I'm going to equal that to g of x, which was x squared minus 33. Now to solve this, it looks like there's going to be some sort of quadratic. So I'm going to take everything over to the right hand side, so I get it equal to 0. So I'm going to say 0 is now equal to x squared minus 3x, and then bring that over as well. That's going to be minus 28. Okay, and now to solve it, I think we can factorize this actually. So factorize that into, what's it, 7 and 4, so minus 7 and plus 4. And that means here x is going to equal 7 and x will equal minus 4. There we go. So that's where those are two x values for when those two functions are equal to each other. And the last thing now is this: solve where f of x is 43. So I'm just write the function f of x. There we go. And they're saying that function now is equal to 43. So what we can do is say 43 is equal to that function there. How do we solve it? Send the 5 across, so we'll have 48 is equal to 3x, and divide by 3, so that's x is equal to 16. And there we go. So there is a brief introduction to functions. Hope that all makes sense. And in the next one, we'll try a few slightly more difficult questions with functions.